G'day guys, Shawnee from Life and Tennis. In today's video, I'll be discussing round 13 of the Pennant season, the club competition I play here in Victoria, Australia. And first of all, just want to acknowledge the room probably looks a bit different. The lighting might seem a bit off. We recently changed our lighting fixture here, or lighting fitting, should I say. And yeah, it's definitely giving off a nice soft yellow vibe. So I'm probably glowing a bit here, but I don't have the budget nor the expertise to be able to, fix it up in time to do this video. So hopefully it's not too off-putting or too jarring. But yeah, in this week's Pennant match, I was only scheduled to play doubles and yeah, had a really solid win, 9-8 with my partner Max, who I've played with previously, but we had a tough loss a few weeks ago against one of the best teams in the side. So it was really good to get a win this week. And what was most pleasing about it was just the fact that we were able to come from behind, and look, I'll go over that in a second, but yeah, really pleasing result. The team ended up winning 5-1, so it was a much needed win, especially given that we're vying for a final spot. And we pretty much locked in top 4 now, so we just need to ideally finish 3rd because the top team is almost unbeatable. The second team is still very strong, but we give ourselves a really good chance against the second team on the ladder, which is Glen Iris. Top team Vermont South we're playing this week. But just to get into my doubles, so I'll do a little bit of a quick recap of our match. Yeah, it was we started off really well. We ended up getting up 4-2 pretty quickly. I would say it was hold for hold, serve for serve for the first 4 games. Then we broke and held to take a 4-2 lead. We sort of thought, look, given it's only a short format doubles today, all we had to do was basically win 4 more games. So yeah, we were pretty comfortable and confident at that point. But then, as tends to happen in doubles, things can change so quickly. And yeah, I played a couple of really poor games, and yeah, we ended up losing the next 5 games in a row. So we ended up going from 4-2 up to 7-4 down, which was quite shocking. And I have to admit, I had a mini meltdown. In a couple of those games, I was yelling out and kind of smashing balls down and against the fence, and I hit one ball actually over the fence, not over the outside the tennis club into another court within the same club. So it wasn't too bad, I suppose, but I was very angry, just really disappointed with myself because I felt like I was playing some quite good tennis up to that point and just missing regulation shots, regulation volleys, smashes, things like that, even some ground strokes that just I shouldn't have been missing, and I just started losing confidence in my game. But then from 7-4 down, we just started pegging our way back into the match. And I must admit, after I let out all that frustration, I held my own. I had no anger left after that. And I think that really helped me. And me and my partner ended up just winning 1 game at a time. And they were close games. We could have easily lost any of those games. And I think probably the reason why we were able to come back was because we were basically comfortable with the fact that we were potentially going to lose that match. Now, we could have easily lost it 8-4, 8-5, even 8-6, given that they were serving. They had 2 chances to serve for it. So I think the first service game that we broke back on, which was actually at 7-4 up, that was a juice game. That was quite a long game. So that one could have gone either way. And we just started to notice they were getting a little bit tight. And yeah, we pounced on that basically. So I think once we broke the first time and we were able to then hold serve the next game, because there's still pressure on us at that point, knowing that it's not always straightforward to hold your serve. Once we got it to 7-6 and we changed sides at that point, we were pretty confident now that we pegged it back to only a 1-game differential, and there was always going to be extra pressure to serve it out again after they'd failed the first time. So yeah, and that game they just crumbled, and yeah, all we had to do was basically just get the ball back over the net. So basically it was just effectively just doing the basics well, and yeah, ended up breaking back again, so winning 3 games in a row to get it to 7-all, and then we held serve to get to 8-7, changed ends, and we were thinking, okay, we just break here again and we've got the match. But yeah, they ended up holding serve to take it to a tie break, and that's at that point you're kind of back on level terms, but we still felt like the momentum was in our favour. And yeah, look, we won the first 3 points of the tiebreak and pretty much cruised home to victory 7-2 on the tiebreak in the end. So look, I think once we'd worked our way back into the match, it was pretty straightforward after that. We had the momentum, they were crumbling a bit under pressure, and yeah, we started to just enjoy ourselves on the tennis court. So you're really satisfying to get a come from behind, tough, hard fought doubles win. The positives for the match, I mean, the first obvious positive is the fact that we were able to dig in and hang in there when we were down, when the chips were down. So that's the first positive. And a lot of that has to do with just staying mentally strong. Now that might sound counterintuitive given the fact that I already mentioned I had a mini meltdown during the match, but I think that actually helped me in a way to just relieve all that anger and frustration. Almost doing a bit of a Novak, given that, Novak has been famous over the years for letting out frustration, for smashing rackets, things like that. Obviously he has at times probably gone a little bit too far, it's gone too far over the edge, but most of the time it actually works for him. It helps him to get back into the match. So that helped me out. My partner Max barely shows any emotion, positive or negative, to be honest. So he can be a hard player to read sometimes, but that's one of his big strengths, is he doesn't let things get to him emotionally. But for me, I find it hard not to release tension or some anger or frustration when it's there. So although funnily enough, when I'm happy, when I'm winning points, I tend to just keep it under wraps. I don't get too overly excited about that. So it's funny, the anger really affects me physically, whereas the excitement and the joy is more subtle, I suppose, in how it's manifested and how it comes out. So yeah, that was really, really pleasing. I would say the second positive was the fact that me and Max gelled pretty well for most of the match. There were definitely moments where both of us were a little bit off, particularly me. I think Max held his own for the most part. But when things clicked, it was not just because one of us was doing really well, it's because we both did our job on the doubles court. So, for example, Max might have just been rallying from the baseline and I just hit one volley. All I had to do was hit a return, come into the net and, let Max do his thing from the back and then wait till they missed or wait for the opportunity to hit a volley, to cross for a volley winner. So it was more just we were in sync in that sense. So that's the other pleasing thing, is we definitely gelled really, really well. And as I said, we just dug in there and we just did the basics very, very well, which is sometimes that's all you've got to do in tennis, because you just have to wait for your opponent to miss. Most of the time that's going to be good enough against really, really good players. Against the strong club players, that won't be enough most of the time. But against, average to decent club players, sometimes just getting the ball back is enough to keep the pressure on your opponent. Essentially, that's what happened. They crumbled and we took the victory. So that was really, really satisfying. As for the room for improvements, look, the obvious one is the fact that from 4-2 up, I definitely dropped my game for the next, essentially for the next 5 games, really. I mean, it was really the 2 games in a row that I just had really, really poor games. But then I went from bad to worse at that point. And I think a lot of it was just for the fact that I was trying to do too much. I was trying to be too aggressive. I think when I got a smash, I was almost trying to hit the ball as hard as I could, and sometimes with smashes, it's more about the placement of that smash than it is how hard you hit it. So I think that was my main issue. And to be honest, maybe also just I was getting too frustrated too early in some of those games. And maybe all I need to do was basically just give myself a bit of time, take a few deep breaths and then go again. But at the same time, as I said, I let out my frustration, which I think was a positive thing, because after that, I didn't feel any anger after that. And I basically went back to doing what I was doing really well for the first kind of 6 games of the match. So that was probably the only room for improvement, is when I'm starting to feel like I'm kind of missing my range a bit. I think I just need to learn to adjust a little bit quicker. And it's easier said than done, obviously, but how you can do that, I guess, is mainly through just it's more the mental aspects of tennis. And you can, the mental side of tennis is not easy to what do you do to help, stay mentally strong? But I think there are physical things you can do. Like I said, taking a few extra deep breaths, taking some time in between points, going to the towel, talking to your partner if you're playing doubles, all the rest of it, sitting down between change of ends and just giving yourself time to sort of reflect on things. They're just a few things. Sometimes I've found what really helps me is being really present in that moment, really being aware of what's going on around you and your environment, your opponents, even the conditions you're playing in the court, the club you're at, things like that. So probably just I needed to maybe adjust a little bit quicker so we didn't get in that hole that we were in. Because as I said, they could have easily held serve at 7-4 up and we would have lost 8-4. But as I said, pleasing that we could come back, and surprising in a way, because I'd almost written us off. But I think that's what helped us play kind of free-flowing tennis because we didn't really have any expectations after that point. So yeah, really, really pleasing. And as I mentioned, the team won 5-1, so we only lost one rubber, and that means the last 2 weeks we've won our matches 5-1 and 5-1 respectively, so it gives us a good percentage boost and keeps us third on the ladder. This week, as I mentioned, we're playing the top team, Vermont South, so look, not expecting to beat them, but if we can steal a few rubbers off them, you know, if we can win a doubles rubber and maybe a singles rubber, let's say a 4-2 loss, even, you know, there's a chance we could actually win both doubles rubbers because we are a very good doubles team. I think we're actually one of the better doubles teams in the section, so that's going to help give us a big boost if we can, you know, manage to either win both doubles or at least win one and maybe win a set in the other one, because we're playing a long form doubles this week and a short form of singles. So yeah, I think doubles is going to be really important for us. And then yeah, singles, they've got really, really strong players from 1 to 4. So it's going to be really tough in singles. But yeah, this week I'm only playing singles and it's another first 8 game set for me. So yeah, really looking forward to the challenge. The player I'm playing against at number 4 in the team is probably the strongest number 4 in the section. As I mentioned, he's just really, really solid. He's played grade 2 Pennant, which is, yeah, basically third behind state grade and grade 1, essentially. So, yeah, he's a very, very solid player. He didn't win many matches or any matches in grade 2, actually, I think last season when he played, but he's at least a grade 3 Pennant player, not a grade 4. So, yeah, he's been dominating this season. I know I'm in for a really, really tough match. I'm expecting him to be quite an aggressive player, and we're playing on our home courts, which is on the synthetic grass, so it's going to be quick, aggressive tennis. So I'm expecting to have to, you know, withstand a bit of pressure, but ideally, you know, if I can defend really well and work my way into the point, I'm pretty confident on my aggressive games, or particularly my forehand, and I've been really working on, you know, coming into the net and shortening points. So yeah, and yeah, regardless of what happens this weekend, even if we lose every single match and we lose the day 6 love, we're still probably going to finish 4th on the ladder, and then we'll end up playing the same team again the following week at their home courts, which is on Ontacar. So yeah, that'll be extremely, extremely challenging. So this is probably our best chance now to get a good feel for the team that we're playing in. You know, if we end up playing them again the week after, gives us a good indication of what to expect, I guess, if they end up bringing like the exact same lineup. So yeah, looking forward to the challenge. But yeah, that's it from me, guys. As always, let me know how your club competitions and tournaments are going. And yeah, if you've had any great match wins, tough losses, or just anything that you'd like to discuss, always happy to hear feedback. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Please like and subscribe for more life and tennis related content. Cheers, guys.